Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to share with you guys my top 5 favorite couples that did not end up together. So 4 of these books will actually be books that I wish that the main character had ended up with the other love interest instead of the one she actually ended up with. And then one of these books is a couple that could have been together but they didn't because of one reason, which I will share with you guys when I get to that book. But I just wanted to warn you, with a video like this, there will be spoilers for the books that I'm going to talk about. I'm obviously going to reveal who the main character ends up with. So if you do not want to be spoiled for the following books, I would suggest that you click out of this video right away. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so for OTP number 1, this is a book that I absolutely loved, and the book series that I'm talking about is the Remnant Chronicles. I wished that Leah had ended up with Caden, and I just felt that Leah had a more genuine connection with Caden. I felt like their relationship built and it had a nice blossoming progress. Instead, I felt like the guy that she actually did end up with, I felt like their relationship was too insta-love, and I just didn't like the progression that relationship took. I felt like Caden was a more well-rounded character. He was a better developed character in my opinion, than as opposed to the love interest that she actually ended up with. Now I understand why the author had Leah end up with Rafi instead of Caden. The third book really, I feel like the third book really goes well into explaining that. However, I still in my heart wish that Leah had ended up with Caden. And then the second book series that I wanted to share with you guys is actually a book series that is not yet finished. However, the second book definitely killed the ship that I was rooting for, and the book series is the Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rosh. I wanted Mayra to end up with Theron. Instead, she ends up, for sure she will end up with Mather. The second book just killed that ship. Now I understand why Sarah Rosh did what she did, the direction that she went. I definitely understand, and I definitely agree with her choice, but my heart is in love with Theron. I just love that he has so many layers to him, and I love that even though he makes the wrong choices, I love that his heart is in a genuine place. He just wants the world to have peace, basically. I definitely liked the connection that him and Mayra had. Especially in the first book between them was just all of the scenes that they had together was just absolutely beautiful, and the second book kind of killed that connection. Now don't get me wrong, I love Mather. I think he's a great love interest, and I totally understand why Sarah Rosh ended up going with him instead of Theron, but as I said, my heart beats for Theron when it comes to this book series. Alright, and then my third favorite OTP that just did not happen comes from a very popular book series here on BookTube, and I'm pretty sure that most of you have read at least the very first book in the series, and it is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas, talking about Kale and Selena. I absolutely loved their relationship. I felt that they had a genuine connection, and I really hate that they broke up. Now I understand the reason why they broke up, but I always in my heart wished that they had some kind of reconciliation, but it didn't happen, and I understand why Selena / Aelin decide not to reconcile in that way with Kale, but my heart always held out for them, but it just didn't happen. The ship has sunk and died. And one of the reasons that I really love this couple is in the second book they have the scene where they're dancing together alone where nobody can see them, and I felt that was such a beautiful tender moment where they're just kind of holding each other and they're just having this beautiful connection between them in that moment. As I said, I wished that Kale and Selena didn't sink. I wish that The fourth OTP that I wished happened, this is kind of a gray area because in this book series it kind of actually sort of happened. You guys need to read the series in order to understand how the author did this, but the book series that I'm talking about is the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. There were two love interests for the character of Tessa, and that was Jem and Will. Most of booktube, everybody loved Will. I was not like that. I loved Jem. He was my favorite love interest. I just really liked that he was different from Will. Technically, Tessa did not end up with Jem. She ended up with Will. However, in the epilogue, she ended up with Jem. You guys need to read this book in order to understand what I'm talking about. Cassandra Clare is by far the only author I've ever seen do this, where she actually makes the main character end up with both. It's kind of a gray area. I just wish that Tessa had ended up with Jem in the first place, because she sort of did, and then she didn't. She ended up with Will, and then she did at the end again. I'm sorry I'm making things confusing, but Jem, he was just such a sweet guy, and I never saw the appeal of Will, and that was one of the reasons why I connected with Jem so much. I just thought that Will was such a jerk, and now there's a reason why he does the cruel things that he does. However, I don't think it's excusable. That's just my opinion. And Jem was just such a genuinely sweet guy, and he was kind. Don't get me wrong, I understand why she ended up with Will. I do understand that. I get that, because something happens to Jem and she couldn't be with Jem. But in my heart, despite the fact that she was with Will at one point, my heart, she will always belong to Jem. And finally, the last book that I have to share with you guys is actually a book where there was no love triangle. It was for a very, very different reason. It was a very, very sad reason. And the book that I'm talking about is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Now, romance isn't a big factor in this book. The main protagonist, she is just like a preteen into her early teens, but however, there are hints of romance in which she has this boy who's her age, and he kind of flirts with her, and he's always asking her for her to give him a kiss, and it is like the sweetest, most beautiful thing I've ever read. The boy that she was supposed to end up with, he dies. It was young love, truly genuine young love, in which he would like flirt with her and ask her to give him kisses, and she would like shy away from him, and it was just like this little innocent young love, and I absolutely loved it. And when he died, she finally gave him the kiss that he was always asking, and it was the most beautiful moment, and I'm already crying because I remember the scene. She cried for him, and she kept telling him to wake up, that she has finally kissed him. Their love was just beautiful and innocent and young and genuine. In case you guys don't know, by the way, this is my favorite book of all time. I absolutely love this book, and every time I read it, I always cry. Alright guys, so there you go. Those are the 5 OTPs that just didn't happen, that I wish really did. Anyway, let me know down in the comments below, and make sure you write spoiler warning if you have any OTPs that you wish had happened in books and just didn't. I would really love to know that I'm not the only one who doesn't love the canon couple in every single book. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below if you would like to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or Goodreads. I hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day, guys, and keep reading. Bye!